Hello and welcome to A Day in the Woods. It's a bit muddy. It's not raining now. It's been a bit grey the last few days. Not helped by me having a cold. You might still be able to hear that in my voice. I do have a feeling this video is going to end up a bit like one of those old Fast Show ones with Paul Whitehouse running around going, "Isn't it brilliant?" Where he ends up cutting up to Iceland in one shot and Sunderland in the next. It's not going to be that dramatic, and they're not going to do too much running around. But a few things to talk about here rather than just sort of show you some scenery. So as I sort of remember things and talk about them on other days, I'll put them in, so you may also hear my voice changing as I recover from this cold. So yes, out for a walk today. It's the Monday, he says, thinking through after Christmas, so 30th of December I think. God, everything just gets a bit confused from there. Well, that was funny. Yeah, you see, that is probably why this is going to jump around a lot. Just sort of seeing, oh, nice thing, shiny. But yeah, so what I wanted to do, as I hinted at the end of the last video, is talk a bit about what's happened in 2024 and then how that's set up what's coming up in 2025. So I'm doing this constantly, a tiny little drip out of my nose. I've just had a cold for the last week. Actually came down with a cold on Christmas Day because that's perfect timing. Oh God, I'm going to have to get a selfie stick, aren't I? Just going to drop some of these things in at random as I'm going through. But yeah, so it's just coming up, 2 days left in 2024. So this is 365th day of it, because see, a proper year would be over now. It's a leap year, so we get an extra day. So yeah, actually having a walk today. Have been a bit coffee and ill and just not wanting to go out, When you look out, it's grey and damp and the day's over really quickly. But I decided now I'll do something today. Just get some exercise in. This is going to be so jumpy around when I edit it. Anyway, reminder, in Colchester, you've got the sound of a helicopter flying overhead there. Oh yeah, no, hello, welcome to the chin zone. So actually maybe it's a nice place to stop and sit down, but yeah, lovely big tree by me, but my arm will get quite tired, so let's go find somewhere else, I guess. Well, that looks a bit better, so we'll see how this goes. Leaning on the tree rather than sitting on it, and slight chin dips, but we'll deal with it. So yeah, I'm in Friday Woods at the moment, down near South Colchester. Got a nice wander down. And just actually to be clear on this, I was just remembering that it's one of the last episodes of the first original series of Frasier, when he's telling people he's leaving, but because of a series of unfortunate events with hilarious consequences, obviously most people think he's dying, and he's not. So yeah, this is not bad news, any of this. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of editing in this. It's going to be fun. It's a challenge. We'll just hack it around and turn it into something. But yeah, not bad news. That's the key thing here. This isn't going to be any sort of bad news. This is good news. So, I was going to look back on 2024 and then explain what's happening with me in 2025. And 2024 has been a bit of a odd kind of year. So I've been thinking, it's kind of a season of death, to be a bit overly morbid about it. But it's just sort of been peppered with people I know dying. Like, it started off the year. My aunt was in hospital, then nursing home after that, because she'd had a stroke at the end in September last year. And then she died in February, and that was sort of last of that generation, really. Well, apart from my dad, but I don't talk to him. The last of that generation I talked to dying. And then also around then, a friend of mine lost her brother in an accident. And then around the time when we were dealing with everything after my aunt's death, a friend of mine here died. He was Chris Hall, who was a So yeah, after around that time, when my aunt died, a week or two after that, my friend Chris Hall, who was one of my colleagues back when I started in council, one of the people who persuaded me to stand to be a councillor originally, he died. He'd been quite ill for a while. Right. But yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, back in end of February, beginning of March, my friend Chris Hall died. He was one of the people who persuaded me to stand for the council. He'd been a really good friend over the years, and he'd been ill for quite a while. He was in his 80s when he died, and but that was still really sad to sort of see him, to see him die. I hear that he died, and then for a couple of months after that, we're dealing with everything with my aunt's estate. We're having to sort of clear the house out, which just took a long time because my uncle had died about 8 years ago, 2016 he was, and so we were sort of clearing her house out, and there's just so much stuff there, and it was just sort of, they'd kept so much over the years, and it was all memories of trips and things they'd done, but all been put in boxes and not actually looked at. It's just been sort of kept. So that was there. So we were dealing with that, and then obviously the sort of family stuff we dig through that. We found, I found some old photos of myself as a child. I might actually put some up here just to sort of demonstrate those. You can see that I was cute once. So yeah, there was that, and that was sort of got a lot of us thinking really about sort of things about life and actually going out and doing things, and not just sort of the memories of things, and what you actually want to achieve with yourself, and what is it worth having all this stuff at the end, because it didn't, it meant quite a bit to her, obviously, even if she wasn't looking at it, but to the rest of us it was all just sort of there. So and then so we dealt with everything from my aunt's that was sort of ongoing for a while, dealing with all that, and then start of July, my friend Arthur died. He was a fellow runner, really nice old bloke, and we'd known him for a couple of years. I'd driven into Parkrun a few times. Everyone knew him around here. He was just a lovely, friendly guy, always out running. And he was on his way home from a run on his bike, because he didn't drive, and got hit by a car and died. And that was it, all over. And so everyone was really shocked by that. So Arthur died in a crash there, and again that was just one of those very unexpected things there, because people had seen him a few hours before he died, the run he'd been doing, and it was just pure chance, wrong place at the wrong time type thing, which sort of shocked us. And then I think it was around that time, the week before that, I'd managed to sprain my ankle at Parkrun. It's when I'd gone down to do Roding Valley, just one of my last of my Essex ones to do. Just went flying, slipped off a path, went flying, landed on grass, luckily, but managed to do my ankle doing that. And again, just thought, very good. It sounds a bit crass comparing that, but again, it's just that bit wrong place, wrong time, foot in the wrong place. If it'd been a centimetre to the other side, either way really, I might have been fine, but then that's what happens, and it just reminds you of these little things going on. So had all that going on, and then I had trying to look at the best order to tell all this in, but we'll tell it and then I can jump it around. And then up in just over 2 weeks ago now, Thursday the 12th of December, I was in a car crash driving along, and I must have lost concentration for like half a second or a second or something, and the car in front of me had stopped because there was a line, because it was on a main road. There's a little side road coming off, and he'd stopped for people turning there, someone turning off there, I think, off or on from there, and he'd stopped. I didn't see quick enough, brakes went on, not hard enough, went right into the back of him. Front of my car's completely wrecked, his bumper and whatever's wrecked. Luckily no one seriously hurt, but it's still not pleasant. The airbags went off. That was an amusing experience. amusing experience, an interesting experience. Because there's a bit afterwards, I was sort of trying to push the car out and I was like, oh God, I smell something burning. It's going to explode. And I realised that's just the gunpowder they use for the airbag. So yeah, I do look back on that and thinking, oh my God, I was in shock, wasn't I? Unsurprisingly. So yeah, but that, so I walked away from that. Car didn't. Well, cars don't walk away, obviously. But yeah, I walked away from that. I had a bit of bruising, sore back, which I think has faded or just become subsumed into the feeling of the cold I've had. But yeah, so that was another one of those wrong place, wrong time. You know, I've never gone into the back of anyone. I've been driving for 30 years. First time I've ever done anything like that. And yeah, but if I'd been slightly slower on the brakes, if I just lost my concentration for a little bit longer, who knows what? I probably wouldn't be here now. It'd be more than just the car. So yeah, the car was written off. It was an old car, 20 years old. It's not surprising, but it did its job in protecting me and crumbling at the front. I'll put a picture up. I've got a couple, as you can see. Which was a shame because it was a lovely little car. And so that again is something, one of those things that gets you thinking about that. But so that's all the down stuff from the year. And it's like any story, so you've got those ups and downs, and they want to tell like that, and they all mix in together in chronology. I've said that bit wrong, haven't I? In chronology, where if you're structuring a story, you'd have them in a much more logical order, but here things just sort of pile up on top of each other and it's just one damn thing after another, really, isn't it? So there's good and bad stuff in there, and good stuff comes out of the bad and bad stuff comes out of the good, and who knows what. So that crash is sort of part of my thing. That's just towards the end of the year. Let's go back a bit though, because one of the good things, there's been lots of good things this year, even though there has been the death and the accidents and whatever. One of those things was back in August, I went up to Snowdon. I went to Snowdon on my birthday, in Iwithfa. Is the name of the mountain, isn't it? Yeah. So I went up Iwithfa on my birthday. Then I went to the Peak District for a weekend in September, and I was up in the lakes in October for a week. I did the Langdale Half and then a bunch of walking around then. Some of the video bits from that are up on here somewhere, and I've written some. I'll be stuffing the links for you. Arms are dead. So I did those weekends away. I mean, one thing I realised, especially when I was up in Wales, was just how much I felt better being around the mountains. How much I felt better being somewhere a bit wilder, a bit more hills. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying here is completely horrible. I mean, let's just turn this, show you down here. I mean, this is a lovely little natural old pathway. There's houses right over there, but this is still nice. But it was more, I've been here, I've been living here in the east for almost 30 years, which is one of those bits that kind of crept up on me. I was realising that, and I think I've explored everywhere around here I can. And the one thing I noticed being up there was, even when I'm doing like small little walks, just up little hills, whatever, it just felt like I was getting somewhere, standing on top of something. And I think it was just around here I just realised how flat it is, how flat the views are. They're lovely, I'm trying not to sort of go, oh, it's already horrible here. It's not. It's just I wanted something different after all this time. And then I had that realisation with that, and it's not, it's not anything completely new. It's always in that sort of, when I win the lottery, I'm going to go and buy a big old house in the Lake District. And I didn't win the lottery. That's not the story that's going on here. Don't get excited. So what was I? Yeah. Another helicopter. Oh no, it's a small plane. Oh look, see if I can picture it. Can you see it there between the tree branches? Probably not. There we are. Oh, so it probably wasn't a helicopter earlier, it might have been that. This might not have been the best choice of path. Oh no, can I get thing there? That was always going to be one of those moments of, hey, this will be nice footage, or I'm going to fall in holding the phone. Which would have been nice footage, I'm sure. I've got footage of me falling over in the lakes. I haven't bought anything yet. Bonus content. Actually, I do want to keep telling the story. There's lots of nice paths that keep coming down. But this is just a preview. It is nice around here. Oh, there we are. There's me stumbling and slipping, but not quite falling. I wasn't wrong, there were actually helicopters around as well. So you can actually hear it, see it. I can't know. Oh, there you go. Single helicopter flying in towards the sunset. It's all very cheap remake of Apocalypse Now. And here we are, we've jumped forward a whole year. It's now 2025. It's January the 2nd, I'm out on a walk, and thought I might as well finish this video off. So yeah, I'm a different part of Colchester now. This is Hilly Fields Nature Reserve. You can probably hear the road behind me. It's a bit noisier than where I was the other day. But yeah, just having a wander around, get my steps in for the day. It's a nice sunny, you can probably still hear I've got a bit of a cold. It's getting better, I am recovering. A bit sniffy, but yeah. So it's a nice cold day today, it's only about 3 or 4 degrees. Nice sort of flushed pink cheeks from walking in the cold. So, as I was saying last year, 3 days ago, whichever way you want to see that, I inherited some money last year from when my aunt died. I also had some money from when my mum died a few years ago. And I talk about this, and I do try and say this because you do see a lot of people sort of elide the sources of their wealth and sort of how they can afford to do things. And I like to be honest about that, especially sort of see that in writing and journalism and things like that, when people go, oh yes, blah blah, I do this, that, and the other, and then mention because my parents bought me a house, or my husband earns, or my wife earns $500,000 a year, or whatever. So I think I'm not going to talk about actual figures in there, but I have this money, and I've had, it's allowed me for a while to live the life I wanted to. And so what I've been thinking recently is that if I have enough with those inheritances, to actually buy somewhere to live, not be renting anymore. Sorry, just getting my hand getting better. So, but not around here, because sort of looking at what I've got, may give you an idea then how much money I've got. Is around here, if I was right at the very edge of what's affordable for me, I might be able to afford a 1-bed flat somewhere around Colchester or Clacton or something like that. But also what I was saying earlier about enjoying being at hills was maybe sort of think, no, I want to go somewhere else in the country. And I've been looking for a bit and realised that I could actually afford to move up to Cumbria, which feels a bit of a surprise. You say you can't live around Colchester and Essex, but you can go and live up in Cumbria, which has some of the most expensive property in the country if you're in the Lake District, if you're in the National Park area, which isn't the whole county. And so what I was doing was looking around the edges of that, and what I found is Whitehaven, which is a old town on the western coast. It's also the town where my family comes from. Well, my mum's side of the family come from there. My mum was born there. I've got pictures of the family from back there and all that. And I found a house. I may put a picture of it up here. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. Oh God, arm's getting stiff sitting like this. So we'll go a bit closer. So I have actually bought myself a house. Well, I've got an offer accepted on a house, and we're now just doing all the bits with solicitors and estate agents and surveyors and all that. And I'm moving, is the big news here. I'm moving up to the northwest, up to Whitehaven in the next couple of months probably. We'll see how quickly it goes. It's a really nice house. It's a good old solid one. It's built in the 50s, and I've turned people up there and they say the Whitehaven brick is apparently ridiculously strong. It's sort of thing that if you're doing DIY, you go through a lot of drill bits going through there. So it looks very sturdy. Obviously, surveyor will do the best. Needs a lot of decorating. It's one of the reasons I was able to afford it, is because it hasn't been decorated for a while. It's been in the same family for decades. So there will be a lot of decorating to do. So this will become a decorating channel for a while, probably. Home decor, and you can all laugh and mock my choices while I do that. But yeah, so I'm moving, and I'm going to be living not quite in the Lake District, but right by the Lake District and right in Cumbria, and really looking forward to it. It's going to be big change, lots of different stuff going on, and I've got other things linked to that move as well. It's not just sort of moving for the sake of it. There are some other things going on which I'll talk about at another time. No, actually, I'll talk about that now, because one of the things when I was looking at moving up there was just sort of getting an idea. I know a lot of the area. I've walked up there. I've been up there loads of times. My family are from there. I've been going up there for 50 years. But one thing I was just looking around, poking at places possible to live. Whitehaven one. There's also Penrith, Carlisle, Ulverston, all those bits of on the fringe. And I was just looking at the University of Cumbria, which I'd heard of, and just thought, just have a look at that. See what they do there, just out of curiosity more than anything. And when I looked on their homepage, this is back at the start of December, they had to think about a course that's an MA in Literature, Romanticism and the Lake District, which I will put up here, somewhere just here, which is a mix of creative writing, mix of English literature, and also some history and geography and bits in there, because it's all about actually studying the presentation of the Lake District, how the romantic ideal with Wordsworth and all that, and lots of other bits around there. And I actually talked to one of the, this was sort of, I found that beginning of December, and then there was an open day, but it was the day after I found it. So it was online open day, I didn't have to travel up for it. So I went along to there, talked to one of the tutors, found out, this was really interesting course, really loads of stuff on there that fits in with a lot of what I'd like to do. And again, think I'm lucky I can actually afford. So that's one of the reasons I'm travelling up there. I'm moving up there, one of the things I'll be doing while I'm there. And again, think I'm really looking forward to. So that's the news. That's the start. That's how we're starting 2025. There'll be a lot more to come over the weeks to come. I've got, obviously Parkrance and some travel to do down here before I go, and saying goodbye to people. and also there'll obviously be big stuff around moving and painting and decorating and all that. But then I'll be living up north, up in Cumbria, and travelling around there. And the other thing about that is it's a great base actually to be based in for doing camper vanning, because you've got all the northwest to do, all around Cumbria, everywhere else around the north, and then easy to get up into Scotland, because I've got some ideas for places I want to visit there and trips I want to do and all those things I can do before the course starts. So there we are. I think I've rambled on enough now. It's been quite a long video and quite a lot. You've had to be looking at my face for quite a long time. So I'm going to head off now, because it is starting to get a little cold sitting here. You can really see the steam coming out of my mouth. Head home, maybe stop in town for a cup of tea or something, and then get on with the day.